MIA.
Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to July 7th, Hot Takes Party of 4, episode 22. My name is Christis. I'm the Minneapolis, Minnesota rep. I am in the boondocks of Boulder Junction, Wisconsin, camping right now. How's everybody doing this morning?
Excellent.
Really, really good.
Well, we'll go around. I am Gabriel Jordan, Las Vegas, Nevada rep out on the West Coast. And I'm home. I'm out in the boondocks.
I can't stop laughing.
Are you laughing at me, Kim? Or are you
Probably. Oh.
Maddie, talk.
I'm Madison Mastro, and I am the new Ohio Alpha Broder Primeline rep. I'm currently in Chicago, but in 9 days, I will be moving to Columbus, Ohio. And while Kim gathers her thoughts, I want to point out that today we are episode 22, and it's 7-7. So the double numbers today. I don't know, guys. Maybe we should go play the lottery. What do you think?
I
like
agree.
to gamble?
I don't like to gamble, but I would love to win the lottery.
Me too.
I don't know how that's going to work for you. I don't know how that's going to work.
I know. Somebody just said to me, you got to play to win. I'm
Good
Kimberly
too.
Moffers, our South Florida sales rep with a massive case of the giggles. So I apologize. Oh, that's
You
a
gotta
good
fill
thing,
us
though,
in.
right?
What's keeping you laughing right now?
Oh, life.
That's good and vague.
Sometimes if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So just keep laughing. I find
There
it
you
better. So Chris, your background's a little different this week.
It is just a smidge different. I took the filter off. I am in my camper in rainy northern Wisconsin, clinging to the hope that the internet service of the campground will hold. If I disappear or I freeze, I'll come back eventually. So
Nice.
We'll wait for you.
this is our window here.
Beautiful.
Nice little campground action. You could also see my daughter right there.
I like how that area was very messy, just like a
Yes.
just like a kid.
Tuck it off screen.
We were camping at Halama Beach this past weekend with zero cell phone, zero internet. Quite literally. When you roll out of the area, all your text message, your phone starts blowing up. But it's you're forced, you're off the grid, you're forced to not look at social media, look at your phone, answer phone calls. It's nice. It's nice.
It's a nice
I need a little bit of that. And Maddie and I have never really been camping.
Did I freeze?
I've never been camping.
So I went camping as a Girl Scout when I was young, in the woods in a tent and all of that. I hated it. And I've been to cabins with not a whole lot of amenities. But I haven't been on this new phenomenon, not really new, but exploding phenomenon of everybody owning RVs and going out, and I'm interested to give it a whirl to see if I like it. I used to joke and say my idea of camping was the Holiday Inn, but
I have lots of friends like that.
I am interested to go camping on or near a beach, more so than in the mountains. So.
Well, there's a lake here, Kim, and there's a beach. So
Yeah, because that's
come on over.
And then more ocean. There's an area of Maryland called Assateague, where there's wild horses that run and you can go camping on the beach. And I've always, I think it's Assateague or Chincoteague or something to that effect, something Native American sounding. And I've always wanted to do that. So that's on my bucket list. And you guys are encouraging me to move it up the list with all this camping talk.
Get out there.
You should.
Get out there.
I might go today.
Absolutely.
When you run away. It cleanses your soul. My goodness, when you get out there in the fresh air, get out of your house, get away from things. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Correct. I agree. It's there's nothing like a campfire, a cocktail, and the sound of nature.
Yeah.
So
you said it.
That's my happy place, I like to say. So
I've only ever camped in backyards.
The safety net of going
so you always had
outside
amenities, you're saying.
I wanna rough it. I wanna do it.
Well, I wouldn't
It
say what we do is roughing it. Like I have a bed, a refrigerator, like
the first 37 years of my life, I was tent camping. You know, we would stay at places outside of Yosemite where they only had a hole to go to the restroom in. So we roughed it for many years. I did jump on the bandwagon over the last, little while and did go the camper route, but we roughed it, set up a tent, taught my kids. My older daughters, my daughter's 23, she goes camping with her friends and she's in charge of starting the fire and helping people set up because she's the only one who knows how to do things because that's the way we raised her. So
oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. That's really cool.
I've stayed at cabins where I've had to use an outhouse before. I think I'd prefer the hole in the ground. So I can't say I've never roughed it, but it's been a long time. Like that was back when I was a teenager or in my 20s. I got to the point where vacation for me was more about comfort. Like I didn't want to go somewhere that was worse than home. I always wanted to go somewhere better. But I would like the experience. So I'll be hitting you guys up for some pointers.
Do it.
Bring my campfire.
Absolutely.
And your s'mores.
And my s'mores.
There you go. So this week, a little different than previous weeks. We're going to kind of go back to our roots here. We're going to go around. We're going to go with questions instead of a topic this week. Also, remember next week, we're going to be at ASI Chicago. Maddie and I live on the floor together. We'll see how that goes.
Together, holding hands.
Looking forward to it.
It's going to be great.
I'm sorry. I have to interrupt. Kim, did you just drink out of a water bottle?
I was waiting for it. I did. I honestly, because I haven't had any coffee today. I haven't had anything. I quite literally looked at my clock and said, "Oh, but
darn."
Threw on a more appropriate shirt and ran, and I needed water. And we have water bottles in the fridge because I have people in my household that need water bottles. It's a safer route. So,
all right, baby steps. Baby steps.
So they are still there, but I will say I haven't been drinking out of them. I've been refilling my water bottle.
Okay.
And we have been working on our monthly challenge, which I won't tell you what it is.
Good.
But we have been, and it does not involve water bottles. So
I almost spilled the beans of what my monthly challenge was.
I was under wraps. Under wraps. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Chris. You were in the middle of talking.
I was just gonna say, who wants to kick off the questions?
Oh.
Go first. Mine is, it's not related to anything. It's the most random question ever. But when we were in high school, and I don't know what the actual term is, but you were voted for like best whatever it is for the yearbook. What is that? high school superlative. Is that what they're called? Like best car, whatever it is. So I want to know what your high school superlative was in high school, and then what it would be now, and how they would be different.
That's deep.
It's deep.
Ooh, that's different.
All right, you go. You kick us off. You kick us off, Maddie.
So my high school boyfriend and I at the time were most likely to be married, and that 10 years later has obviously not happened. So that's true. But I think now it would be between two. It would be best dog mom, or I would vote myself as most athletic. I would vote myself as most athletic or dog mom. And then that would be my answer. Guys.
So I might have to pass. I was homeschooled through high school.
You could be like best personality.
So if I had to guess, and I'm taking myself back to junior high on this because I actually went to junior high. It probably at that time it was friendliest. I was friends with every group, everybody, and now it's probably least friendliest. I don't like anybody. No, that's not the case. I don't know. You know what I think? I think the three of you would be a better judge of what mine is now than me. I don't know. I got nothing for you.
Most likely to drive an electric car. Yep.
I can't think of my own.
That's good. Yeah, I just pawned my answer off on you guys. Give me an answer, guys.
Sorry, I'm done now. This is too.
I didn't hear you, Maddie.
Best shoes.
Shoes. I think you're resourceful. Is that a good? I don't know if that's a great adjective, but I think of you as somebody that when I have a question, you have an answer. So for me, you're very knowledgeable and very resourceful, and you're willing to help. So you're helpful.
Are you talking about me?
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do always have an answer. It's not always right, but I'll give you an answer.
I would agree with you, Kim. I would say you're very reliable, Gabriel.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm touched.
I think we
Go
lost.
ahead, Chris. Chris was like, screw this.
Yeah, it's a dumb question. I'm
Gotta go empty the latrine or whatever. So I graduated high school with like 1,000, 1,200 people. I forget, some insane in my graduating class. So I don't think I assume maybe in our yearbook there was most likely to whatever succeed. I definitely remember them in like elementary school and all that. I, like you, Maddie, I had a high school boyfriend from the age of 14 or 15 till I was in my 20s. So of course everybody thought we would get married. We got engaged and all that, but we didn't. But I too, like Gabriel, had friends in every niche. I assume high school is the same way as it was when I was in school, where you had kind of your pods of groups of people. And I kind of had friends throughout all of them. So I never really and then I had my core group of friends, but I have no idea what I would be voted as now or then. Most talkative, because I don't shut up. I'll shut up now.
That works.
these answers. Yeah, there's no this is a good thinker question.
It is. You're making us work really early.
Except Chris, because I think he's faking it. I think he's just sitting there.
He's live.
Down.
Yeah. He's like, if I don't move, they won't ask me anything. All right, well, Chris will have to get his, we'll come around to Chris when he gets back.
I won't forget about you, Chris. Don't worry.
Kim, I'm gonna ask, are you ready? Are you ready for yours?
I am. I'm
Okay,
a little
good.
scared of my opening that it'll sound like I'm being really like depressing today, and I don't mean to be. My
fine.
thought process, since we were doing this kind of old school round robin, all of our episodes of late have been very industry specific, and which is great. But I was thinking more just as a general professional kind of question. Oh, Chris is back. Do we want to let him answer, or should I?
Yeah, he's not getting off the hook.
Yeah, let him answer.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yes.
Yes, and yes.
Okay. What was the yearbook question, right?
Yeah.
I was not cool enough to be in that superlative, so I didn't have one in high school. But now I would probably say I heard Kim's, like you were all frozen, but I could hear you talking. I would probably say I'm like in the same realm, like most outgoing / or for me, it would probably also be annoying. Like you could
most
swap those
annoying.
in and out. Yeah, that'd be mine for sure.
Well, I think it makes sense that we'd all be kind of voted as friendly and talkative and outgoing because of what our profession is. So
Look what yeah.
kind of makes sense.
Not annoying though, Chris. You're not annoying. Don't say that.
I agree.
You guys
You're
may
not
not think
annoying.
so, but a lot of people probably do.
You're not annoying. You're not annoying today. Not at all.
No, and you know what? You can't be everybody's cup of tea, right?
Because some
And I
people
don't-
have coffee.
That's right. And I don't want to be everybody's cup of tea.
It's true.
Oh, we were talking about your mushroom coffee with my family, by the way.
Oh yeah,
God. Yeah, so are we.
it's fantastic. I'm gonna give you guys all of this,
Yay.
it's mushroom coffee and then little cafe Bustelo, so you can have the Madison cocktail in the morning, and then you'll be like this all day.
I haven't had
Wired.
any coffee since yesterday morning. So all right. So
No, you gotta go get some.
yeah, I know. Can you tell?
No,
Like, can you tell I haven't had any coffee? No.
you're faking it real well.
Yeah. I am a pretty good actress, but so all right. So my thought process on this conversation was about mental health in a way. I'm wondering what you all do when you're having a bad day or feeling overwhelmed or stressed. And I used to work with a gentleman, Anthony Stover, and he'd always say, you're not having a bad day, you're just having a bad moment. There's only bad moments, not bad days. So I always try to keep that in perspective. But what do you have any secrets or tidbits on keeping your mental sanity when things get really out of control?
That's a good question. I like that. Because
Very good question.
we in our job and time, yeah, this is a good question for us.
And I feel it, and I'll overshare a little bit. I'm feeling it not only from the professional aspect, but personally life. Sometimes it always feels like when it rains, it pours, and your plate is full and everybody's plate is of a different size. So we can all handle a little bit more or less of a load. And I'm always looking for something other than having a big, enormous glass of red wine at the end of the day. I mean, I know for myself, if I go for a long walk, it helps. Sometimes if I just let it all out, it helps. A long time ago, I went to a seminar and a wellness coach said, when you're struggling with something and you're an overthinker like myself, and you tend to like just be on that treadmill of continuing to replay whatever it is, you got to mentally build your bridge and get over it. And ever since then, I actually will say to myself, okay, I'm going to think about this for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to build my bridge and I'm walking over it and I'm done with it. And it helps me. So do you guys have any secrets? you care to share?
I do. I have plenty.
I'm sure exercise is a big part of it.
Listen, I love the building a bridge in your mind and like getting over it. Like this has been a struggle for me, and I won't overshare too much, but lately getting out of whatever funk it is that I'm currently in has been really, really difficult. So anything that I can like change up the routine that I normally do has helped. But years and years of therapy, guys, this is what has helped.
Wow.
Three really good things. I have three really, really good things. The first one is mindfulness. So you close your eyes and you name three things that you hear, three things that you smell, and then you can open your eyes and name three things that you see, or you can do three things that you taste. And then once you're done, you just take a deep breath and then you go on with your day. So you're present. Number two would be, either taking a walk, like you said, Kim, or at every 10 minutes, when 10 minutes is left in the hour, you get up, you move around, you do a little bit of an exercise. So you're not, doing the same boring stuff all day. And then number three is my favorite. It's coloring. Coloring is the best. Absolute best. And you guys I have 100 coloring books, and I'm not kidding you. It helps so much. And I am a 3-year-old at heart.
Excellent. I love it.
Good. Wow. How do you beat that?
Gabriel, I was gonna go with, I don't really have anything. I need to develop something for sure. Because I hear you. But if I had to pick one, like for some people it's easy, right? Like my wife, she would say, read a book, have a glass of wine, go someplace quiet, like recharge batteries. For me, it would probably be, and you can't always do it. Like I would say, I need to get outside. I've got to get outside, and for me, that's either going on a walk or, which I did a lot of during COVID last year, or getting on the golf course, getting away from it. Like, I went golfing this over this vacation that I'm on right now, and it felt so like stressless. Like it felt great just to get out in nature, do something I love, and forget about other stuff. But for me, one of the other things I would say is listening to music. I gotta listen to music. I gotta sing along to my favorite.
All righty. Well, we were following him. We understood what he
song, not care what anybody else thinks, and just kind of forget about all the stuff.
All right. Nice. So I'd like to take everybody up on what they're doing, because I need something too, Chris. There's, over the last year and a half, we've spent a lot more time at home than the last 20 years, and with that, I find myself, I think we discussed this before, working. It seems like I'm working more. I get up in the morning, you hit the computer, and you next thing you look over at the clock and it's 11:30, and you're like, okay, let me take a break. And then it's 1:30, and then it's 2, and you're like, I've been nonstop. So unfortunately for me, there's nothing I do to stop. I usually, if I'm having a rough moment, I just power through it. I don't stop. I don't take a break. That's for the most part. I just like, let me get through this. And if I get it done, then it will be over with, and the bad moment will be gone, or the bad hour. So I just stay, and I stay put. And I know that's not healthy. Over the last year and a half, I think a few times what I did was, so Chris mentioned reading a book. I love books, but I'm not a big reader. My mind is more visual. So I would go downstairs and I'd watch 15 minutes of comedians in cars getting coffee, something that's funny, that's different. And that would take me away. I imagine myself doing that maybe a dozen times over the last year, but that was really nice for me. It gave me something visual to look at. It was funny. I stop thinking about work for those, 15 minutes. But I need to take a walk more often. Of course, it's 110, so that would probably make me more frustrated. Maybe I need to do what Maddie recommended. Let me close my eyes and count things. I like that. I can give that a whirl. So
I like going, like, during all of the time we were, stuck at home, there were days where I would be like, just let's go get in the car. If it was too cold, let's get in the car and just go for a drive, just to get away and look at new scenery. So I love all of your ideas. And I'm going to implement some of them. So thank you for sharing.
Mental health is so important right now, like more than ever.
I don't think we talk about it enough. And I think a lot of times we try to tuck it away. We don't want to admit that we're overwhelmed, especially when it comes to our jobs. I know, especially, I hate to say this, but being a woman, sometimes, we spread ourselves really thin, and you don't want to admit that sometimes it's too much. So we just keep going and going, and we put self-care on the back burner. I find if I vent to somebody, apologies to whoever it is who's getting it, but it definitely helps me. And sometimes I just need to do it. Like, just let me just spew all this on you, and you don't need to respond, but just let me get it out, because if I don't get it out, I'll explode. So.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Good to vent.
Good one.
So
well, I'll go with mine
before we lose
I
you.
Glitch out again or something. And maybe I won't hear your answers, but industry related question. Shocker, I know. But with the third quarter and fourth quarter around the corner, it's becoming more and more visible that the challenges that are going to present themselves with inventory, supply chain, logistics, employment, all of that. My question to you all, and this is more of a poll, is when do you think it will kind of correct itself?
Are we answering? Are we closing?
And I'll start.
He probably should start. Chris, you should start, Chris.
But I would say I'm gonna say Q2 of 2022. Second quarter of next year.
Yeah. I mean, I started the beginning of this year saying by spring. I really thought by April everything will be, and then I was like, okay, by the end of the summer. And then I just kept pushing it and pushing it. I keep telling my clients that I feel like holiday, end of the year, it's not going to be great. I think it's going to be, a stressful situation. And we talked about this last week about getting ahead of it. So I think I'm probably realistically with you, Chris, in it's really going to be this year. We're going to have to ride out this year for what it is.
So
those mental health things are very important.
Yes, they are. Good follow-up question, right? I'm not sure. You said your choice of words were correct itself. I'm not sure we're ever going to correct itself. I don't know we're ever going to go back to the way things were. I think Q2 based on
supposed to lift us up here, Gabriel.
I know. I'm giving an honest answer. I'm not going to give you. I'm just telling you what I
like.
What I think.
I like it.
So when COVID started, and we all remember where we were. Oh, the school's closed, or your company pulled you off the road. What did you think? 2-3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Hey, we're gonna get back to normal. Life's fine. Look at us now. Inventory, specifically inventory, Q2, I think there are certain suppliers, and that doesn't go just for us, it goes for, hard goods and, competitors and whatnot, are never going to be able to correct themselves. We're never going to have certain, the levels of inventory that we had, pre-COVID. I don't know how long people can use COVID as an excuse. I know we've talked about that before, but I think we got to get used to a new normal, and that new normal is going to be whatever shakes out over the next year. And none of us know what that is. I'd like to think that we do. I'd like to say, hey, Q2, Q1, we're good to go. PPAI is going to start. We're going to kick that off, and life's going to be normal. But we're never going back to the way things were, and I don't know what that is yet. And I think we're all going to find out. The current issues that we have at times seem fairly extreme. You're in the mix. We talked about having bad days, bad moments. It's rough. You're dealing with clients and they're looking for something and you can't get them what they need, and there's no alternatives, and that's tough. And I think we'll get out of that. But at the same time, I think clients are going to start understanding this is just what it is. What do you have for me versus I want that item in that color and I need that. We don't have that. It's, hey, what do you have? Here's my event. Here's my budget. This is what I have. You tell me what I can get. And I hate to sound it does sound kind of bleak, right? It doesn't sound very uplifting, but we're resilient as humans. We'll work it out. We'll be fine. We'll get into that new normal, whatever that new normal is, and we'll work it out. So I don't have a date for you. 2050. You get no date from me.
Okay, fair.
I think it is going to be a little bit longer than a year. Kim, I was with you when, you said April, everything was going to be back to normal. And then, end of Q2 and then Q3 of this year. And I'm not, trying to be a Debbie Downer either, but I will give you a date. I will say October 28th of 2022.
Wow.
That's my 30th birthday. And
just in time for Halloween.
New normal. Yep. Yep. Our new normal. We won't be struggling as much. We won't need all of our mental health hacks as much. I think things will be coasting by then.
We're all over the board. I love it.
Only time shall tell.
That's right.
And guess what? Hopefully we got lots of that. So
Right.
So I was going to ask an industry question, but I'm going to change that because of my answer was kind of a Debbie Downer. I want to change it to something a little more uplifting. And based on our conversation throughout the day and where Chris is now, where I was over the weekend, I want a place. This could be camping. Look at Chris's frozen face, is great. I want a place that you could tell our listeners that they, one place you need to visit. You got to go there and see it. And I'll go first, and it's where I just was. And like I told you guys, it cleansed my soul. I was on Halama Beach, which most people don't know where that is. It's a hidden gem. My wife's going to kill me for telling people about it. She's like, don't tell anybody.
We got like 2 followers. You're fine.
all 2 of those people are gonna head over there this weekend. It is north of Santa Barbara, and it is off the beaten path. And once you're going down the freeway, you got to get off this road, and it's a 35-minute winding road, and it's, one lane at some points, but you get there, and in either direction on the beach, which is rare in California, there is nobody. There's nobody. You can walk for 3 or 4 miles in either direction and not run into anybody, and that's really rare. And I was there, and I was like, this is what I needed. This is good stuff. So Halama Beach, north of Santa Barbara, visit it.
Do you go in the ocean there?
So interesting. It's fairly cold there year round. First time ever. And I've been going 2 or 3 times a year for the last 10, 12 years. I got in the ocean. It was cold, but I got in. I did not. There are a few. There's a point where surfers go. Where it's a great point. It's a hidden gem for surfers as well. They of course have wetsuits, but I'm you know, man up, Gabriel, get in there. You know, you can come in here for so long, get in the water. So I did jump in, and it was beautiful. It was great.
And it was like camping on the beach, right?
There are beach sites. We were 1 or 2 rows in, but yeah, absolutely.
I don't care. I told my wife that, and she was like, "Oh, that sounds amazing." I was like, "Hitch up the camper, let's go."
Yeah. When you tour the country, Chris, stop by Halama Beach. Show your wife a good time. So where's that place?
I think we should take hot takes on the road. Maybe get a hot takes camper and load it up.
Yeah.
Ian.
We'll do a tour, a world tour.
Think we could rent a camper and expense that?
Yeah.
Why don't we just use yours, Chris? Let's just put a big sticker on the side. Hot takes.
Okay,
Sure,
I'm in.
I'm sure one of our clients would be happy to wrap it for you.
All you have to do is ask.
So I worked for you guys. Does anybody remember the Sweda Road Show? No. Okay. So I worked for Sweda in another life. And for a time they had a road show. They had a traveling RV with all of the products in the road show. And we would take it around our area and clients would come out. They would bring their end users, they would bring their clients, and we would give a presentation throughout an RV. It was phenomenal. It was a 40. Yeah. It was a 40-foot RV that none of us should have been driving, because we just you would just hand it off to the next rep. And everybody had to do it. So Maddie, Kim, Chris, you guys would have your 3 weeks with the road show. You would schedule your meetings and you would roll around in this 40-foot RV. I will say every rep crashed it except for me. Every rep ran into something at some point in time. But it was a really cool idea. It was a fun idea. And you can still talk, people still on the West Coast talk about it. About the road show.
I've always said that jokingly. I wish that I could just take my storage unit and hitch it to the back of my car and go. But I think that we should discuss doing that. I think that's an excellent idea.
It worked for many years. It had a big slide out, the air conditioner. You'd set up some food. Like I said, you would take it directly. I remember taking it once to 3M's factory, and all of the management team came out and toured. I mean, you would take it directly to the end user. It was a great form of not only advertising, but a great way to do business. Clients would love it. So Chris, get your RV decked out.
Let's pimp it out. Pimp my ride. Figure it out. I would mine's similar to yours, Gabriel. Again, before I freak out here with internet, I would say the Apostle Islands in northern Wisconsin. In the winter, they turn into ice caves that you can walk in and out of. In the summer, it's some of the bluest, coolest water that you can kayak in and out of. I can honestly say it's been on our bucket list for a couple of years. We camped in the area, but we haven't done kayak. I would highly recommend that. It is, as you would say, off the grid. There's no internet service up there, no cell phone service. So bring a carrier pigeon or something. But
Apostle Islands. I like the name. I've never heard of it.
Where is it at?
Northern Wisconsin, up by Bayfield, Wisconsin. Google it.
I've never been to Wisconsin.
I was
supposed to go to Wisconsin many years ago to travel with Courtney, our Wisconsin rep, and we got a snowstorm coming in. I forget if the snowstorm was in Philadelphia or Wisconsin, and it doesn't matter. Anyhow, I never ended up going. And I was looking forward to it just because I want to be one of those people who visits every state. And I love Courtney too. But
none of you have been to Wisconsin? No. Land of beer and cheese? Oh my God. All right. That's the first road trip.
My first, when I was an inside rep, back when I was 23 or 24, they offered me an outside position in Wisconsin. And my wife and I looked at each other and said, nope. Ended up going to Texas. But yeah, Wisconsin was the first offer I had to go outside.
Dude, we could have been best friends.
We could have. If I would have known you then, I absolutely would have jumped on it. I'd have like, I'm going.
I don't know about that still.
I'm going to hang out with Chris.
All right, ladies.
All right.
Are we naming quaint places that people don't know about? Was that your question, Gabriel?
I don't know that I used the word quaint, but we can run with that.
Was it places that people don't know about, or just places you think people should go to?
A little bit of both, and I'll let you decide how you want to answer that.
I am going to answer it with my favorite place and the thing I'm going to miss the most about Chicago, North Avenue Beach, where you can watch the sunrise come up right from the lake. It is so beautiful, but you have to go for sunrise because after 7 a.m. the beach is packed. But you go at 5:30, there's nobody there, and it's really cool. You get to see the sun come up over the water. It's really cool. I'm gonna get really sad when I don't get to see it anymore. But it's
Here comes the waterworks.
You can always visit.
I can always
You're going to find your own place in Columbus.
You can always go home.
Yeah, it's true.
It is
Nope.
true. I've learned real quick, all the things that you think you will miss, you will, but that you can always come back to them. Hopefully, unless it's like, Miami, because someday that won't be there. It's going out to sea.
You might appreciate those places a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're right. You can just get to it right now, and it's easy, and maybe you take it for granted and you can't, and you don't go as often as you should, but when you're not there, you might appreciate it even more.
Yeah, you're right. You guys are right. I don't need a weekly therapy. I have cupcakes. Like, what am I doing? I just come here every week.
Hey, there's airplanes. How long of a flight is it? An hour?
Yes, less.
There you go.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Easy.
Oh. You gotta remember who you're talking to.
Guys.
Right. She's on a plane now.
Everything is doable. You'll figure it out. So I'm gonna leave the country. Maybe
Oh, nice.
maybe literally. The first thing that popped into my head was the Isle of Capri, or Capri in Italy. So I traveled around Italy and went to a lot of the major destinations, and I ended up walking away from the country thinking the most about my time there. It is absolutely beautiful. It is like a mountain island, sitting in the ocean, just beautiful sunset, beautiful people. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. My cell phone didn't work there. And I long to return. And it was one of those places in my life that I visited that I felt like perhaps I lived here in a former life. And I've had that feeling about a couple of places. So I think I've had a lot of former lives.
You've lived a lot of places in these former lives.
Not all, but I can think of 3 off the top of my head that I've definitely felt like I've been there before. And that was one of them. So if you ever get the opportunity to go to Italy, I highly recommend spending some time on the coast in Capri.
Would love.
Yeah, us Americans call it Capri, but that's not how they say it.
Like the pants. Kim, if you have pictures, you're always welcome to send those via text message.
Maybe I'll go and take some for you.
Go ahead.
Nice. I like it. Good question. Good relaxing question. The week of the 4th year, chilled, laid back, terrible service, all good. What do you got for an OG question of the week, Kim?
OG
So we'll wrap this
question of the
baby
week.
up.
I got nothing.
That's nothing.
Nothing.
I've got nothing. I have a silly question.
Okay.
And I don't know if we've talked about this before, so forgive me, but it's kind of in line with my whole theme today of stress, wanting to run away, simpler time. If you could go back to any age of your life, what age would it be? And I'm preface this. I'm thinking more of like, your childhood. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, I'll stay my same age because I know everything I know. But if you could go back, I think of simpler times. I think of like age 7. Like you're old enough to kind of, do things for yourself, but young enough to not have to pay bills or worry about things. So I just feel like that's like a fun age, 7. What do you all think?
I would say between 10 and 12.
Same.
But
Same.
yeah,
12 years old. I look at my daughter now and I go, God, miss being that carefree.
yeah, like you were smart and athletic. I feel like my life peaked at age 12 and not exceeded that. And we're still trying. I'm trying. But yeah, between 10 and 12, that was a good age. Tall.
I'm gonna say 14. 14, just figure, I knew everything, so there was that. Just coming into my own. The 10 and 12 were decent, I guess, but 14, I thought I really had it under control, and I had a good year. Met some good people. Met my wife.
I had a good year. I had a good year when I was 14.
I had 14. That actually stands out to me. If I'm going through all my years, 14 like stands out. A lot happened at the age of 14 that I could look back with fond memories.
See, but the trick to the question wasn't about your life. Like I think of the summer of '89 was a fun time, and that was a great. But in age process, like I look at my daughter who's about to be 12, and I'm nervous for the next year to come because I'm starting to see those things that I remember in myself at age 13 that I'm not looking forward to. That's why I went to a younger age. But it's interesting. We all had little different answers. So we got 7, 11, 14.
I think it's all relative, right? It's where were you in your life at all of these ages? And we won't get into any details, but the early years weren't any, they weren't that great. so there's that,
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I think I grew up too fast. So when I think of like 12, that was when the pedal started to get pushed on the metal. And 14, man, I was off and running. I want to go back to slower times.
I read, you know what, Kim, that's funny. Just yesterday, I read something and it said, if you could go back and be a kid, what wish do you wish you had not made? Something to that effect. And it was, as a kid, you said, I can't wait to be an adult. And that was like the number one thing is, when you're a kid, you just want to grow up. But when you're a kid, I'm sure we all do to our kids, don't rush it, enjoy it. That's what I tell my girls all the time, especially my 15-year-old now, who's, she just wants to get older. She has 2 older sisters who are in their 20s and seeing what they're doing. I'm like, don't rush it. You'll get there and you'll have your time, but enjoy your age right now. So
stop growing up. Yep.
Yeah, it don't have to matter what, it'll come.
Right.
And it'll be gone in a blink of an eye.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, it will.
And the
Yes,
thing
it
that
will.
brought, I was driving yesterday and I heard the Springsteen song "Glory Days," and that's what made me think
Oh.
of like I was looking
Yeah.
back and I was like, my teenagers, I had a lot of fun, but there's stressors involved with that, and I didn't have a perfect childhood either, but 7, I don't know. I think I could wash it all away easier, I think. And go play with I played in the dirt more than played with Barbies, but that's
Good for you. I like that. That's cool.
well, this was fun. We did a little we took it back old school for
We
high
did.
school.
We took it back.
We took it back.
And our product spotlight, we totally went random as well. So
We did random. We'll be back next week with a PSA. We'll be back next week with a PSA at ASI, and I mean all these things. So tune in next week. We'll Maddie and I will be live. We'll try to be on the same screen. It'll be really fun, but awkward, I'm sure. It'll be great.
I'll be back. I'll be in my car again.
There you go. There you go. But episode 22 signing off. Hot Takes Party of 4. We'll see you next week.
See ya.